Zero. Hey, hi everybody.
Hey,
Welcome.
everybody.
Hi. Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, show where we talk
Welcome.
about whatever issues are on your mind. That's the quick and simple version.
Or
Hi
my
guys.
mind.
No, Joe. The show's not for you. It's for the audience.
Oh.
I mean, do you have something? You can write it down in the forums and we can both talk about it. You could talk about it to yourself because sometimes you just need to do that. You just like
Sometimes.
have your own problem put in front of you and you're like, if I were that person, I would do this. And then it's like, oh, I could do that.
I
That's
totally
honestly
would.
how I solved some of my problems when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd say, if I were me,
No, I said, if
what I
I
would
were
do.
somebody else and I was to tell myself how to solve this problem, what would I say to them? And then I figured out the answer from that.
Ah.
Yeah. Welcome. Nice to see you guys. I see Sparrow is here. Jeff is here. Princess is here. Jehoshaphat is here. Jesse's here. And Joe's here. And I'm here. Yeah. Hey, so welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. This is Don't Worry Wednesday, you know the drill. Show where we talk about whatever's on your mind, whatever maybe you're worried about. And yeah, just gotta put out a disclaimer. We're not professional psychiatrists or psychologists or heroes or professional crime fighters or professional hole diggers. So there's a lot of things that we're not professional of. So any advice that we give is entirely on you if you decide to take it up. Like if I tell you to go eat a donut, that's on you. Like you are the one making the decision, so you can't sue me.
But you
Because
told me
I'm
to
not a
eat a donut.
professional.
That was
I'm not
very
a professional. I'm
specific.
not a professional chef, baker,
Dietitian.
dietitian. There you go. My recommendations of food it cannot be trusted. So,
But you
but
told
that
me to
doesn't
eat
mean
a
I won't make
donut.
some. It doesn't mean I won't make some suggestions. I'm just saying, if I do, you can't blame me if you do it.
You told me to eat a donut.
Yeah, I did. You can eat one. You can eat one, Joe.
I like
Do you like
donuts.
Yeah,
I do.
me too. What
I
kind
do.
of
I
donuts?
never hardly eat them.
What's your favorite donut?
Ooh, that's a really good question. They
Same for
don't
me. I hardly ever eat.
hardly anybody makes a donut that would be my favorite donut.
Good Dale's makes really good donuts, and you know
They
that.
do make really good donuts. You know, my favorite donut would probably be a Long John
Yeah.
with chocolate cream filling.
Oh, chocolate cream filling?
Chocolate cream filling.
Okay.
Glazed. They never glaze Long Johns.
Yeah.
Hardly ever.
They put a frosting on it.
They do. They put a glaze with
Yeah, a
chocolate
glazed one.
frosting on top of the glaze, or chocolate frosting and then glaze on
Wow.
top of that with chocolate cream filling. That would probably be my favorite donut.
That would be really sugary.
It would be sugary.
Yeah.
I'd be like, ah.
Yeah, I'm with Jehoshaphat's. Boston cream is my favorite thing. The whole point of a donut is to have the Boston cream inside of it. If you just have if you have a regular donut, if you have Boston cream, oh, now you got something good. Now you got something to work with. If you have a
Boston
donut,
cream
you have
is
a blank
good.
canvas, right? But the whole point of the donut is to have the Boston cream in it. Because the Boston cream is the best part.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. And I love the
Boston
way
cream
that
is
Boston
good.
cream works with chocolate. They taste really good together. So I think my favorite is a Long John or the other version, which is round. I forget what it's called. Which is funny because I used to work at a bakery where we sold donuts, but I forget the name of it. It starts with a D, but I can't remember what it is. Anyways, with Boston cream in it. Yeah. Don't ever get Bavarian cream. Bavarian cream is awful.
But Boston cream is good, and Bavarian cream is not.
Amazing. Bavarian cream is that white, absolutely like 100% crazy amounts of sugar, and it tastes so sweet you don't even want to eat it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. If you make it chocolate flavored.
If you make it chocolate flavored, it's probably good because you're adding bitterness to it.
Yeah.
And then it's fine. But if it's just like pure white, it's just way so sweet. I can't handle it. It's nuts.
You know what I've never been
Donuts.
a real big fan of though?
Hmm.
Custard.
What kind of custard?
I like Boston cream,
Okay.
which
That's a
is a little
custard.
bit custardy.
It is a custard. But you don't like okay, what kind of custard?
Like I've never been a fan of the eclair. I always think I'm
Oh,
gonna like an eclair, but I don't.
huh.
They always look so good. They got chocolate on top, and they like a
Yeah.
little
I like
croissant,
eclairs.
with custard inside.
Mhm.
And I was
What
like,
about
"Ugh, custard." It'd be way better if it was Bavarian cream, but it's not.
yeah, do you like flan, also known as, or crème brûlée? They're not really the same thing, but do you like crème brûlée?
I like pocket
That kinda
flan.
custard? Hmm?
I like pocket flan.
What's pocket flan?
Flan that you keep in your pocket.
Really? That's to get really mushy. That's not supposed to go that's like slime, man.
Pocket flan. Man,
Huh.
if that's an obscure movie reference right there, if anybody can figure that one out,
Oh,
I'll give them.
okay.
I'll give them a shout. Be like,
Crème
oh,
brûlée. Well, yeah. So, okay, do you like custard that's like, like it's got caramel on top and then it's just like this custard? What you do is you
yeah,
take
that's
eggs and
flan,
you
right?
yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah, I
also
like
called
flan.
custard. Okay.
Okay.
It I don't know why custard is such a wide variety of things, but that's custard and then also custard can be the filling. It's sugar egg mixture mixed custard.
Hmm,
I think
gotcha.
if you add vanilla to it, I don't know. Anyways,
And if you light it on fire, it's even better
yeah, then it's
because it
like
kind of caramelizes and stuff.
creme brulee or
Yeah.
creme brulee. I
Creme
love that stuff.
brulee.
It's
Yes.
awesome. I've made
Yes.
crumble. All it is egg, sugar, air, and fire. Yes, that's right.
You know what's interesting though? I will say this. One of my favorite donuts is a
Mhm.
Krispy Kreme that's right hot off of the
Oh,
belt, like that came right out of the thing. Like when you
I've
if you
never had
actually
one like
go
that.
to a Krispy Kreme place where they make the Krispy Kreme donuts,
Okay.
and anytime you go in there and they're making donuts, the first thing they do is they grab this like popsicle stick looking thing and they grab one off the conveyor belt behind them that just came out of the thing, out of the oven, and they
Mhm.
hand it to you and it's warm
I bet that would be so much better.
and it just it like melts in your mouth.
Nice.
It's crazy. It's almost like, what is this? It's like not even a donut. It's like this melting sugary glazed wonderfulness in my mouth. It's amazing.
MMD has a question, and that does sound pretty good, Joe. Dear Steady P, Hidden Shadow, I was wondering how long I have to try and solve the mystery of who the bomber is in the Criminal Idol series. It's a good question. It's a good thing to be worrying about. Yes, that's my answer. No, I'm just kidding.
That's your answer? Yes. How
Um,
long? Absolutely.
Absolutely, definitely, always
Yes, for certain.
for a time. I don't have an answer for you, but for a while yet, there's a we finished our Kickstarter campaign. It was successful, and so we are working on, you know, the last song of the series is in works. It's almost done. It's been that way for a while, but it's almost done, and we've got other stuff coming out. So it might be a little while, but we'll get there
Mhm,
before the end of the year at least. You'll
mhm.
know. You'll know who bombed the stage, but there's also a lot more to come from that. There's a
Yeah.
whole series too, and there's a whole second series, I should say, and it solves some other stuff and rises some other questions. So it's pretty cool. Krispy Kreme, awesome. So let's get to the actual show here, huh?
Well, that sounds like a great idea. I think that's
Awesome,
perfect.
cool.
Shout out to Jesse, our producer. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I
He's
like
the
his
only
hair.
person I know who can give up and everything starts at that point.
Okay, that happened earlier, guys. He said, "I give up," and that was his cue to say, "Hey, let's get started."
Yeah. I mean, so if you look at the top of the chat, you see, like how he was having us check our typing. I'm like, I'm now typing in the YouTube chat while watching J-pop. And,
Mhm.
and it was shortly after that, like he just said, I give up. And then I was like, oh, we were both, Ryan and I were both like, oh, okay. Jesse gave up.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know what he
And
meant.
then later he's like, "So are you guys ready to start? Like, what we're supposed to start?" He's like, "Yeah, I said I give up."
Yeah,
What?
it's great. It's great.
It's awesome. So yes, Jesse, our producer, he's awesome, and Princess, our chat room hostess, is also awesome. So say hello to Princess, and yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
but let's start.
Cool. So we've got a catalog here of people who've asked questions before. And also, if you feel like, if you're new here, if you've never done this before, or you're old, and you have done this before, feel free to leave a comment for us. Whatever is on your mind, whatever you're worried about this evening, leave it on the in the chat for us here. You could also send us an email at dww@bss.studio,
Yes,
or you can go to the forums at bss.studio and post a message there into the "Don't Worry" section. So
yes,
if any of those, if you have any worries, you can reach out to us on any of those platforms. If you feel like you want to be anonymous, you don't want anybody to know who you are, I would go for the email and just say within the email, I would like this to be anonymous. But yeah,
yes.
and
Or
we're
you can go
ready.
to Discord, and actually,
Yeah, you can go to Discord and
currently,
reach us out there.
currently, I am on Discord. Like my
Wow.
Discord is open, and I'm looking
Whoa.
at it, and that hardly ever happens. So if you want to
Wow.
message me on Discord, now's the time for me to see it.
Hmm. Nice. Well, here we are.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm going to list off some names here, and if you are here, let us know so we can do yours. Do your worry. Hey there, Sophia. So we've got Nox, Amira, Nathan, Bakugo Lever, Somniosuke, Karma, Rose, Bree, Random, Akil, Purple Husky 8, 15th Ghost, Cherry, Akil, Yume. Oh yeah, that's Cherry. Subaru, or Subaru, probably. Brandon, Echo, and Science. Science is here. I don't know if anybody
Yes.
else is here from that selection, but definitely Science is here.
Huh?
Sophia, hey, nice to see you. You're awesome. You're an incredible human being. All right,
Oh, and
let's
Cherry's
jump into
here.
this. Let's do Science. Oh, Cherry just got here too.
Yeah, but Cherry's redoing the
I'm editing
post.
post.
So
Got it.
yes.
Okay.
So we'll do sciences.
Cool.
Yeah,
This
let's
is
do
from
that.
Science. The title is "This Life Is Mine," and he posted this on our forums. Excuse me. It
Which
reads
is a
as
great
follows.
place to
Oh,
do that.
I'm gonna copy this and post it in the chat with Joe. We're both gonna do it.
Hey, MMD Animator says, do you guys ever plan to make a Discord server? If so, I'd love to help. We kind of have.
We
There's
do
a
have
few of
one.
them, right? There's a detective one where people are actually working on figuring out the mystery, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what's
there's a
going
couple
on?
of them. But yeah, if you want to check out the Discord server, go. I'm sure Princess will probably pull up a link for you. I know she has some saved. Thank you ahead of time, Princess. I love you. You're awesome. Hey, Margin D. Okay, so sorry. This one's from Science Rocks. Again, once again, this is This Life Is Mine, and it reads as follows. Summary. I offended the wrong person online. Someone I thought was a friend. I don't know why. I didn't know why. I tried to fix things, and they called me a stalker, slandered my name, made me question my own sanity and events in the past, gaslighting and delighting, no, and deleting accounts to cover their tracks. And they turned me into the monster they made me out to be. I became hateful, spiteful, got PTSD, held a grudge against people for a time because I found out a misunderstanding involving them being trans caused all that nonsense. I didn't know at that time it happened. Only a while into the madness that I find out. And sadly, I tried to shame them for it. Quote, men and women are inherently different, end quote, is apparently very offensive and not an observable scientific fact. In bold, because why not take it at face value? Look into it as being as offensive as possible. Okay. He continues. They gave me trust issues and broke me down, making me into a maniac, insane, spiteful beast that could only shout how much I hated them. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. I got hooked on revenge, actually ended up stalking them out of hate, became obsessed with them, and much, much more. I got literal PSTD, post traumatic stress disorder. I blocked anybody that I thought could be them or their friends on another account. And I got physically sick at the sight of their name. Like I wanted to puke. It felt like everybody was on their side because they had a little cult of friends. I was a part of that for a short time. They twisted events that happened between us and made me hate myself, questioning whether or not they were right. And I actually was this horrible stalker they claimed I was. Somehow, in the end, I managed to use my hatred and spite to push myself out there and finally live my life again. It, it had to have lasted at least a year or so, and it still affects me even to this day. I've mostly gotten over it as much as I can. I'm not obsessed anymore. I don't care much anymore. They can go rot and burn for all I care. They don't matter to me because they were trying to destroy me. So their words have no value. I have looked at it from their perspective, but that doesn't excuse their actions towards me and other people. They were abusive, manipulative, and covered their tracks by deleting accounts I had messaged them on. If that doesn't completely discredit everything they say, I don't know what does. Everything they told me could be a lie. Even the personal abuse stories they told me. For all I know, those were used to manipulate me, making me trust them and think that they really trusted me. This was years ago, and I've dealt with it. I'm stronger and happier now. But the paranoia and anxiety still haunt me to this day in a way that is difficult to completely get rid of. Remember that person that was quiet and remember that person that was quiet and I knew I was being clingy with? Their actions were the same ones that preceded the whole incident in the past. Suddenly being quiet after being super open and friendly, harboring some kind of issues, harboring some kind of issue and not telling me what I did before lashing out and destroying me. I have a hard time trusting people when they say they like me, or when they say there's no problem, or when they seem to be avoiding me, all because of that past incident. There you go. And it looks like Summer Keegan responded to you last Monday. That's when you posted it. No, that was the day after. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. Science. But yeah, yeah, that's definitely something that I think would give a lot of people PSTD.
Mhm.
Something that would cause them to lose their trust in people and humanity and everybody. Because how do you know who you can trust and who's gonna try to just backstab you or um, do this sort of thing, or who you're accidentally going to hurt and how they might overreact and be your worst enemy, even though you used to be friends. Um, these are all good questions. It's a hard thing to go through. People are really not everybody's a solid person. Not everybody has a good foundation of what it means to be a good person and all that kind of stuff. And some people are really quick to be very, very evil people. um, so yeah, it's a good question. How do you get over um, this sort of situation in the past so that you can be more trusting of people um, when you meet them at first and um, be less anxious about yourself and other people around you. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to not have to worry all the time about other people and yourself. And that's really freeing. It's a lot of freedom to be able to have that. And how do you get to that point? These are all really, really great questions. And I would love that you brought it up. I think we all have um, some variety of experiences similar to this. Um, but, everybody's experience is slightly different. So, anyways, if Joe's ready, I'm going to give it over to Joe and see what he might have for you.
Yeah. Science, I really, really appreciate this topic. Um, and there's a lot of different rabbit holes we could go down on this
Hmm.
one, which is great. I mean, there's the whole ideology, in there. But I think more importantly than that in this question is how do you trust people? You know, because that's kind of what's at the heart of this whole thing. I mean, I don't necessarily go along with the trans ideology, um, but that 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 doesn't make me love anybody less or more than I would anyway. You know, I mean, but at any rate, um, how do you trust someone when you've been railroaded or when you've been hurt so bad or when you know it's tough because for years I went through similar stuff with others where people were hateful, people were mean, people were rude, people close to me, you know, and it's crazy because you go through that, and how do you not almost get some kind of almost schizophrenia from that, where you're just always on edge and you're just like, "Look, like someone's gonna attack me, someone's gonna, you know, do something." But one of the things that it was interesting because I dealt with it for a long time, and then after so long, I finally realized, you know what? It's not my job to make people happy. It's not. It's not my job to make them accept me. I mean, we all crave acceptance and we all crave belonging. That's one of the things that's one of at the core of, of our person is the idea that we should belong. And when you feel alone and that you don't have friends and that you don't have people around you that love you, you don't belong in a group or with other people. That's very painful. But one thing one thing that finally snapped in me and helped me to realize, you know, how to get past this was just what I was talking about. When I realized it's not my job to make them happy. It's not my job to make anybody else happy. That's really their choice. It's somebody's choice whether they're happy or not. And I know that's kind of a challenging thing to hear sometimes because sometimes we get caught up into our lives. I know that when I was severely depressed, I don't think that would have helped me that much to hear, well, you're just choosing to be depressed.
Right.
Because I needed to get at the root of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed to get at figuring out why, what was the issue that I was dealing with that was causing it. And really, because we get into thought patterns and we get into habits, and that can lead down a path to depression. It can lead down the path to, a constant fear. It can lead down to all kinds of paths. And one thing though in this situation about paranoia with other people and anxiety with dealing with other people is a saying that I have used for a long time now, and that is, I know I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try my hardest to show that I love this person, whoever it is. I'm going to try my hardest to show that I care about them. I'm going to try my hardest to help them, feel content with themselves and who they are. I'm going to do all of that to the best of my ability. It may never, ever be enough, but I have resigned myself to try as hard as I can with the knowledge I have and the ability I have to just try as hard as I can. And it doesn't mean I'm like, ooh, working super hard, but it's just it's where I'm like, you know what? I'm just wanting to be at peace. I'm wanting to be at peace with them. I'm wanting to transfer that peace to them so that they can feel it as well in any way I possibly can, whether it's through just a smile, through asking how their day went, through asking about them in any way. I mean, one of the things about people in general is we love talking about ourselves.
Don't we?
We all do.
It's funny because when people, we're so quick to say, "Oh, there's nothing interesting about me," but then we always love talking about ourselves.
Hmm. Yep. So, but when people are lashing out at you, like science says, I was ranting and accusing and obsessed and hateful for I don't know how long. Everybody was my enemy. That's what they did to me. They made me question whether or not I was in the right. They made me think I was a horrible person and in turn made me into one. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. And it's not fair to be treated that way, you know? I mean, I don't it really doesn't matter. I mean, people can do things and make mistakes, but I really feel bad. Like I was dealing with this an issue in my family, my extended family, recently where there was an issue going on between these two family members of mine, and they were really having this bitter argument, right? And so now one person's not talking to the other person, and the other person has apologized, but this person is just angry and just and I was sitting there and I'm like, I really, really hope that they can figure out how to forgive. Not for the sake of the relationship necessarily, not for the sake of peace, but mainly for their sake. Because living with unforgiveness, I've said it before, you've probably heard it before, that to live with unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person dies from it. But really, you're harming yourself. And for anyone who's ever harbored hatred or anger in their heart, they know it just eats you up inside. And like you're just talking about science, it turns you into that person, that horrible person. Just, oh, I mean, you just, and you're so upset with them. But people do what they do. And I get hurt along the way. It happens. Every single one of us has hurts. Every single one of us has pain that we deal with. And a lot of times that pain is at the hand of another person. Someone else hurts us. But we will heal when we begin the path of forgiveness. That's when healing starts with forgiveness. Like Jehoshaphat said, I feel like having a wall is healthy to an extent. Trust is built and earned over time. When it is lost, it may never return. There will be thoughts who lash out and not even try to make things better. And
I think
you're
it's supposed to be there will be
absolutely
those.
what's that?
I think it's supposed to be there will be those who lash out
Oh
and
yes,
try to
there will
make
be
things better.
those who lash out and not even try to make things better. Yes, you're absolutely right. And yeah, it's okay. Even if you forgive someone, you don't have to like hand them the keys to your car.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be their best friend. You don't even have to really associate with them anymore. But the question is what's going on in your heart? You can forgive someone and you can love them from a distance. You can say, you know what? Because this incident happened, I'm not going to associate with them. And it's really for both our good. because for them to commit that evil act that hurt me, that wasn't good for them either. I heard it said, actually, a priest told me one time because I was dealing with an issue with another person. He said, um, yeah, when someone is doing something hurtful, to allow it to keep happening isn't loving to them. Because really, when you're doing things that are hurtful to others, you're hurting yourself. You're creating a persona in yourself that's not healthy. It's only when we love others that we promote healthy relationships and all that stuff. So I think you did the right thing by separating yourself from that group. I think being involved there was kind of poisonous to you. And but I think in your heart, the way to heal, the way to move forward beyond the paranoia and the anxiety that still haunt you is forgiveness. And it might not be easy, but it's definitely possible and it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it to try. And I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he's got a lot to say about this. I can feel it.
You feel it. You feel him. You feel it. You can feel it in his head because I'm right above him.
I do, yeah.
Mhm.
It's like this, and
Yeah, it's
partly
like a
because I'm
static.
bald.
It's like a static you feel.
I have all the barriers removed from the top of my head.
Mm.
I get
You
the
just
full.
nice. Full
Yeah,
pressure.
it's glorious.
All right. Yeah, no, I think Joe's got, the cores of it down. How to how do you go through this? How do you get rid of your PTSD? And I think a lot of it, of course, is forgiveness. But how do you get to that point where you forgive? Okay, I would say this, science. And you said, yeah, I've forgiven them. I've tried to. That doesn't mean the memories, feelings, patterns, and experiences that happen or never happened though. And that part's tough. Yeah, that's the tough part, rather. Um, Granted, I never want to see their face again, but yeah, I forgave them at least as much as I could a while back. So here's something, science, I want you to do. So here, I love this. Sophia is awesome, and um, she's apparently good with her memory. She asked you, "Aren't you going into psychology? Isn't that what your intended major is, science?" And the answer is yes. I think that says it all. You need, okay, you're going to hate me for this, but I am so glad that you went through that. I'm so glad you went through this situation. And you need to be glad too. If you can realize that this issue that you had is a major strength and what you want to become, then I think that that helps a lot because if you are grateful for this situation, then you can utilize it and not be ashamed, not be sad, and not be torn up inside, not be angry or any of that, because you can look at what you had and say, man, I'm glad that happened. Because this is something that will help you not only come to understand yourself better, but come to understand the world, the way people work, and how to help other people through this. Um, you know, to whatever degree you can through your own experiences. Um, Knowing that even you can become a bad person when other people treat you bad. It's interesting. When we're born as babies, right? We we understand our own value based on how we're treated by our parents. Did you know that babies can be depressed?
Hmm.
They can be. Babies can actually be depressed. They can look at themselves and think bad things about themselves. That's depression, right? They can do that. And some babies do. Um, and oftentimes, because not because their parents are terrible people, but because the babies are experiencing their life in a particular way that leads them to believe that they're not valuable. But as we grow older, we become more wise. If you call a rock a sandwich, no matter how much you call a rock a sandwich, it is still a rock. And if you try to take a bite out of that rock, reality is going to punch you in the face. Actually, it's going to break your tooth.
That's
It's going to
good.
be
Yeah.
like, look, it wasn't a sandwich. You should have known this. And that's you. Um,
Wait,
y-
you're the
you,
rock or the sandwich?
you're the rock. You're the rock who's being called a sandwich, right? Other people, um, you are who you are, and other people will say bad things about you, right? Other people will see you a certain way.
Mhm.
Other people might call you certain things, but doesn't change anything about who you are. And at some points in life, we go, well, who am I then? And that's the thing that you need to decide. Every
They might
single
even
choice you
sing it.
make. Yeah.
They might even sing,
Who
"Who
am
am
I?
I?"
Yeah. Nice. And they'll play the instrument parts too. They'll go doo, 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 doo. Yeah. Um, you are who you choose to be every single moment of the day. Whether you are being kind or not is up to you. Whether you're being a good person, whether you're being loving, whether you're being hateful and spiteful, that's all up to you, right? So, who you are is up to you. It's not up to anybody else. When we're little, we only know how to base ourselves off of what other people call us, how other people treat us. But when we grow up, we need to realize that we are our own person and we have to control who that is. We have to make the right decisions, even though sometimes that's hard. So always keep that in mind and help that maybe use that going forward in your life to understand um, you don't have to be mad at yourself for being manipulated. Don't have to be mad at yourself for becoming a bad person because they treated you like a bad person. You know why? Because that's very human. That is very natural. That is, in a sense, our natural state. You take any other animal in the wild, you treat it a certain way, it will react a certain way. That's how you train a dog to do tricks. That's how, you know, a anything will react as an anything does. It's out of a natural response that you became what they treated you like. They treated you a certain way, you got angry, and you just ended up in that, you know, they called it like it was, and that's okay. You don't have to be mad at yourself for that. But now that you've experienced that, now you've got the wisdom to understand you can fight that. You can fight that animal kind of instinct. You can fight that natural human tendency to treat yourself how other people see you. And you can say, you know what? No, I'm just going to make a decision and stick with it. And I'm going to be who I'm going to be, regardless of how other people treat me. And I think that's kind of what Joe's talking about too when he says, you have to love people. Sometimes you're going to give it your best. You're going to love people and they're not going to reciprocate it. They're not going to understand it. They're going to still attack you, right? Sometimes you'll be kind to somebody and they're going to be mean back, right? But when we understand that we do something out of love, when we have a nature about us that desires the best for another person, then we understand how to do something that is good because it is good and not simply just react to things. See, someone who doesn't love doesn't get to make the choice to do good. They simply react, and sometimes their reactions are good. But when someone loves, it means they desire something good for somebody else. Then they are presented with all the opportunities to make that decision a reality. So, to have love in your heart in those moments when you feel that PTSD, to have love in your heart when you encounter these type of people, when to have love in your heart when you find someone who's not trustworthy, or when you meet someone who you're not sure if you can trust them yet. To have love in your heart in those situations gives you the chance to do the good thing and shape who you are, regardless of whether that person is trustworthy or not, whether that person is kind or not, whether that person is going to treat you with trust or not. And if you are having trouble trusting people, trust is one of those things. I think trust in a lot of ways is like faith. Faith is something, I guess, trust and faith are really similar.
Mm.
When you have faith in something, that means you put your hands in the you put your future basically in the hands of that thing that you have faith in. So, say I have faith that Joe will finish a project. That means I'm putting my own personal, you know, reputation or um, progress or whatever it is in the hands of Joe because I have faith in him. Well, it's the same thing with trust.
It's very trusting of you, Ryan.
Yeah. um, and so that's faith, that's trust. How to acquire that? Sometimes you need to take a leap of faith to find the rewards that faith offers. If you go into the wild and you spot a deer and you're like, "Oh, wait, wait, wait. No, don't run away, deer. Don't run away. I've got corn. I actually have corn with me. I want to give you corn." Right? If you try to approach the deer is going to run away.
Mhm.
The deer is just going to run away, even though your intentions were good. And you will encounter plenty of people who want to treat you that way, who want to love you. And you will run away before you get to experience the kindness and love that they have for you. The um what's the word? Um
Bird.
Compassion, huh? Bird. Yeah,
Bird.
bird is the word.
Bird is the word.
Now, of course, it is smart for the deer to run away, right? Because there are such thing as predators. And so the deer naturally reacts to, oh geez, no, I gotta run away from everything. You know? They run away from everything. They just run
Yeah,
away from everything.
that's instinct. That's like
Yeah. Mhm.
it's in
It's a
their makeup.
natural reaction. Right.
Mhm.
And they're born that way. They're raised that way. They're trained that way. They learn from their parents if they weren't, because their parents do it, right? There are deer that do walk up to people and you can even pet them. There
Mm.
are deer that accept corn and so on. And the main difference between the deer that run away and the deer that don't is what they get used to,
Mm.
right? It's just their surroundings, what they grew up in. See, the deer that grew up in a populated area where there's lots of people walking around and they're always nice and they always hand you food, it gets easier and easier to get closer to those people. And then slowly at some point you're just like, oh yeah, these people are totally fine to be around. I can just walk up to this person and yeah, no, we're good. Right? So on that note, how do you become more trusting through that aspect, right? I would say surround yourself with people that you do trust. And every once in a while, you need to take that leap of faith and have faith in somebody else. You know, if I was not a trusting person, I would have nothing. Like, literally. If I tried to run away from all the people because I didn't trust anybody, I would have nothing because I couldn't accept anything from anybody. Everything I have is from somebody else. And that goes for everybody.
Mhm.
This home that I'm in, it's not my home. It's not mine. You know, I put my faith in the homeowner, which is my mom. You know, if I didn't have trust in other people, I wouldn't have a business. Black Static and Swerve wouldn't exist because I wouldn't trust anybody with the company. And I would try to hold it for myself and it would get nowhere. If I didn't trust anybody, I wouldn't be a good musician because I would have never shared any music with anybody.
Mm.
I would never learned any music from anybody. It's through having other people having other people who are strong at things help me become strong with myself. And so trust is extremely important in growth, in our own growth and what we can achieve and what we can have. You know, two hands working on a job oftentimes can make things 3 times faster, depending on the job.
Mhm.
And so trust is essential to success in many things. But how do you trust people? You just have to take that leap. You just take that leap of faith, give them trust, see what they do with it. And here's the cool part. When you give them trust and you see what they do with it, then you can go, oh, well, apparently they can't be trusted. Then I won't trust them. And then it's over, right? You have to be a strong person inside. You have to be strong enough to say, I take it upon myself to have faith in this other person. And if they fall through, that's my fault and that's my responsibility. I'm not going to be mad at them. I'm not going to blame them. That's on me for taking that leap of faith and trust, right? And therefore it's okay. I can move on, right? A lot of times people have expectations and then they say things like, "Oh, don't have big expectations," because they get hurt. But that's bad. Don't think that way. Have big expectations,
Mhm.
but have the strength to proceed when your expectations fail. And that's just like trust. I think a lot of us give up too early, too a lot of us give up too easy. We get mad instead of just trying to find the solution or moving on. And I know that I was in that bus for a really long time. So, um it's kind of like talking to a younger version of myself when I say that because
Mm.
I know that for me it was very hard to just let things go and then just carry through what my end of the deal was in the first place before I trusted that person, right? Because
Mhm.
I was going to either have to do it or I could trust that person and they'll do it. Either way, it's going to get done. And if they don't do it, I still have to do it, you know?
Mhm.
And I just take that responsibility and that's okay. But through that, I find people that I can rely on. And then, oh my gosh, life gets so much easier.
Mm.
So much easier. It's like, because now I've got things that I don't have to do. Other people are doing them. I don't even have to ask them. It's like, wow, this is awesome. That's so cool. You know, and then some people will step up themselves and they're just like, hey, I see this is going on. I want to do this for you. And you're like, I was doing that. He's like, yeah, I'll do it for you. And you're like, okay, do it. Cool.
Sweet.
Sweet. I trust you. Go for it. And then you know what? If they fail, it's like, okay, well, I was doing it before. So, all right, I'll do it again. Like, it's like not a big deal. It's just like they never showed up, right? It doesn't change anything. It is exactly how it used to be. So, yeah, expect the best. Always expect the best out of people and expect the best from life,
Mhm.
but have the strength and courage to follow through and don't be down when the best doesn't happen. Because the truth be told, a lot of times it won't.
Mhm.
But if you don't ever expect the best, you'll never have faith in anything. You'll never make that leap of faith. You'll never put your trust in anybody. And so you'll never get to experience the best because you didn't think the best was even possible. So it's much better to think the best is possible and try for it. But anyways, yeah, I talked for forever. And so
You didn't talk
give
much
it back
longer
over.
than me,
Huh?
and yours was
I,
way more interesting than mine.
I talked for way longer than you. Mine's like twice as long, dude.
No, it's not. Look at it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
that's what it looks
looking
like.
at it.
Look, man, look, Joe, mine is this big, all right? And then yours is this big.
Not even.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna show you these two different sizes. Okay, you see,
Oh, we're gonna
this
go
is
through the
yours
different
and
sizes.
this is mine. Yeah,
Oh,
see, yours is a little bit smaller.
just a
I
little
talked
though.
for I talked
And
for
yours was
way
way more
longer.
interesting.
Shh. No, no.
But
It's your
there's
turn to
what?
talk again. What do you got to say for yourself now?
What do I have to say for myself?
Yeah, for
Not much.
yourself. What do you have to say for yourself? It's your time to talk, man.
I do have something
Yeah,
that
please
when you
do.
were talking, it sparked my brain a little bit, and I was like, one thing that really helped me out, because a lot of us have this. A lot of us have kind of a vision or a dream to be influential with others, or to maybe be, to have, as in Ryan's case, he's got a YouTube channel with 181,000 subscribers, or at least that's the last time I looked at it.
Jehoshaphat is right. The leap doesn't have to be big. That's right.
Yep, you're absolutely right. But one of the things I learned is that, the higher you go at whatever you're doing, the more you're going to run into people that vilify you, or that reject you, just plain out reject you, or even ignore you, which I think sometimes just being ignored is one of the hardest things. But I've been used to that for a long time. But
Poor
anyway,
Joe.
but people are going to reject you. People are going to misunderstand you. And people are going to promote that misunderstanding to other people, especially in this world of social media and, the information age that we live in now. It just is going to happen.
Yeah, drama is big. And so people, yeah.
It's huge. But think about this. One of the most influential people in the world is the president of the United States of America. You might not agree with all of his policies. You might not agree with anything. And it doesn't matter who the actual president is. Whoever the president is a very influential person, right? They have a lot to do with, a lot.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
A lot to do with a lot of people.
They are also one of the most rejected people in the world. Any election we've had recently, they've all been pretty close elections, which means somewhere around 150 million people voted no for him.
Yeah.
150 million rejections in one day. I mean, that's pretty nuts. But that's the same in anything. Like, you look at someone who is as astounding of a figure as Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa of Calcutta. And she had massive amounts of enemies, people that totally and everything she was trying to do is just help people. She was just trying to help the poorest of the poor, the poor, diseased children in the ghettos of India. Like, that was her mission field, and she was just trying to do everything she could to help people in that situation as much as she could, and that was what was in her heart. She just wanted to help. She was like, I don't want things for myself. I don't want riches. I don't want stuff. I just want to use myself as a vessel to help these people. I want to make a difference to these people. And man, she got hammered in the press. People hated her. People said all kinds of evil things about her. People took things she said and twisted them around and, made it sound like she was this villain. I mean, it just happens to everybody. And so you've had this experience of having your words twisted around on you and being made into a villain. That's a step in the direction of great influence. You've already handled it to some degree. It happens to everyone
Yeah, I'm waiting for
as
my
they move
turn.
along a path.
I'm waiting for. I mean, honestly, BSS was started with the thought of at some point we're going to get a lot of negative press about us
Yeah,
because of the things that we stand for, because what we're trying to do, and we
yeah.
already know that it's coming. Luckily, it hasn't come our way yet. Luckily, no one sued us for things yet, but we know it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Um, the the bigger we get and the more good we try to do, the more likely things are going to go south on that end. But it means we, in another way, means that we're making a big impact too. So it's really cool.
Yeah. It's almost like the bigger impact you have, the more the people who, what was the saying? If you want to change the world, you're going to find out that the people who run the world like it running the way it does.
Mm.
And they're not going to like you wanting to change things. So they're going to do everything they can to stop you. And it's amazing. Like, so we fully expect at BSS that we're going to have our words twisted around on us. We're going to be, talked about as bad. We're going to be talked about as stupid. We're going to be talked about as all kinds of different negative things because that's the world we live in. But the key question is what I believe Mother Teresa was asking, and that is, what's in my heart? What is my intention? If your intentions are good and your intentions are noble, your intentions are to help people, your intentions are to share truth, those are noble intentions. And if those are your intentions, it doesn't matter what other people are saying. That's all just noise. It's going to happen, blah, whatever. It's just going to happen. I have this conversation. I'm not necessarily a big fan of Donald Trump, our president. I know a lot of people are not. In fact, I hear from a lot of people how
Yeah.
they are not.
Yeah. A lot of people like to talk about that, how they
Yeah,
really don't like him.
it's amazing. But the
I'm
funny
just like,
thing
he's
is,
a
I mean,
human, guys.
exactly.
Remember
And
that.
I've heard some of the things he's tweeted, which are just ridiculous. I mean, some of this stuff is just
Sounds
crazy.
hilarious.
I know it's so wrong and such like I mean, like I have this picture in my head of him just like he uses the press to his advantage just for like attention, right? And so like he'll throw this outlandish, totally untrue statement out on Twitter, and he'll just be like, "I'm gonna watch how the media picks up on this,
Yeah.
and
What
I'm
are
gonna
they going to
see what
say?
they do. I'm gonna watch
Oh,
them scramble around like little idiots, like." And they totally do. Like I sit there and I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing." Because yeah, he says really crazy stuff.
yeah.
That's
They'll say
totally not
something
true, and
like,
I'm sure he knows it's not true,
yeah.
but he's just like, "I'm gonna get a reaction out of these
Yeah.
people."
I was thinking about burning the Declaration of Independence. Just wondering what people thought about that idea, if it's a good idea or not. Just tweet that and then just feel like I'm gonna put my phone down. I'm gonna go take a nap. When I wake up, the world's gonna be in insane panic. I'm gonna turn on the news. They're gonna be talking about me. It's gonna be nuts. I love it. I'm never actually gonna burn it. I just thinking about stuff, and I thought that would be fun to say.
Yeah. I see Marhandi says, "You want to run for president in 20 years?
In 20
Do
years,
it.
yeah,
Do
why
it.
not? Go for it.
Understand, the pathway is a lot of rejection, but it's also a lot of influence. It's also a lot of acceptance. But I mean, you're going to kind of be in the spotlight, which makes you, when you're a public figure, you're going to get everything from all sides. It's crazy.
Maybe I should run a campaign and then just like the whole time promote like BSS stuff and not actually be a president.
That'd be kind of
And
cool.
then they'll actually elect me. And I'll be like, crap. I didn't want to be here.
Yeah. But science, I would look at this, because here's the thing: a lot of anything that happens to us depends a lot on our perspective. The way we feel about anything, how it affects our lives, depends on our perspective. Sometimes we don't know the right perspective. Sometimes we don't know an empowering perspective, right? But here I look in this case, like, you had this happen. You have a couple different directions you can go. And it sounds like they convinced you for a while to take a perspective of, maybe I am this really bad person they're talking about. You started to believe the press clippings instead of what was in your heart.
I like that.
And what Ryan was saying was great, because he's like, don't let that get you down. And I think one of the keys is to just remember what's going on in your heart. Always examine what's going on in your heart. And sometimes what's going on in your heart isn't all that great. I know for me, there are times my thoughts in my brain are downright sinful, and just selfish and just ridiculous. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I thinking?
Hmm.
I need to stop this thinking. I need to stop this thought process. I was course correcting myself in my mind today a
Somebody
bunch of
stop
times, as a
me.
matter of fact. I sit there and I'm like, oh, why am I thinking this? This is ridiculous.
I
It's
have those
selfish.
moments.
It's carnal. It's ridiculous. Like, it needs to go away, you know? And so I examine my thought processes a lot, and I'm trying to keep myself on track like that. But if you can do that, if you can take a step back away from yourself, examine your thoughts, and look into your heart and say, what are my intentions? Are my intentions loving in this situation? Are they helpful? Are they empowering? And if your intentions are good, then you're on the right track. Next, you just need a little perspective. One that says, okay, this incident happened where all these people were talking bad about me. That means I'm on track to being a person of a lot of influence.
Hmm?
I'm on the right
That's true.
track here. This is the path to greatness, because it is.
Nice. Hmm.
And it can totally change everything in your mind. You'd be like, whoa, that happened. That's the path to greatness. I look at all the dismal failures I've had in my life. All the times I've tried something and failed. All the times I've tried to be better and failed. All the times I've tried to do a project and not finished it. Like, Ryan has faith that I finish a project. I'm like, I don't even know how he gets that, because I've not finished so many things. Like, I was like, really? Or maybe it's just that he's
Yeah,
trying to
you
do
have
this.
been
Maybe
done
he's
amazing.
trying to do this, like, reverse psychology on me. Like, he's like, I believe in Joe that he's gonna finish something finally.
Joe always
After
does finish stuff. We've got like everything that Joe finished is good.
well, sometimes, but and once in a while, a great thing occurs and I finish. But I always try to finish. But at the same time, it's like, I could look at it and I could be totally down in the dumps. Like, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person. Oh my gosh, this is blah, blah, blah. Or I can be like, you know what? Every person who's ever succeeded has just massive amounts of failure in their wake. Massive. And I'm like, man, I'm on the right track, man. I stink at everything. I'm gonna be great.
Yes.
But anyway, I tell you, science, the things you say here are so profound. I love your contributions,
Hmm.
and I enjoy seeing you show up at Don't Worry
Yeah,
Wednesday.
me too.
And I hope you will remember that in this community, you're always welcome, and you will always be treated as a friend, even if you go off the rails a little bit. You know, say something a little bit offhanded or whatever. We're not going to stop loving you,
Hmm.
because we know you're a person. You're just about as perfect as I am, which is not at all. Ryan's the
But
only
yeah, at least
perfect
he's not
one
any
here.
less than perfect. Joe might not be perfect, but at least he's not any less than perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that helps you some, Science. And I'm gonna turn over to Ryan to see if he can finish this off or put a pretty little
No, I've
bow
got
on it.
nothing. Science, thank you for posting this. Thanks for sharing um your tidbits of your life with us and things that you've gone through. Um, we're so glad that you've been able to open up with us and talk about these kind of things. And like Joe said, we just love having you here. So thanks for being around. You're awesome.
Yep.
So, of the people we
There was
have
one
here,
time Mahandi says, I lost my keys while wearing them on my lanyard. I remember a day
so
when
many
I
times
was
I've lost things in my hands
I,
and stuff.
I was checking my email on my phone and I was leaving the house and I was like scrolling through stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I left my phone inside.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Science, you're the best. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cherry says, I was talking to my grandmother on the phone while looking for the phone yesterday.
Yesterday. Yes.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
I can't find my phone.
That's a step on
You're
the way to
using your phone.
greatness.
That's the step on the way to greatness. Yes. That's awesome.
Losing my glasses on my head. What glasses?
Hey there, Kendra. Nice to see you.
I need glasses, guys. I'm old. Did you realize this?
Wait, you need glasses?
Yeah, I must.
Oh. Huh. Okay. It's about time. I've had mine since I was
I know, right? Jeez.
Wow. You're like really like way behind.
I know. Totally behind. Like you've had glasses so much longer than me. Like
Yeah,
you're
I know.
so far ahead of me.
Yeah, by the time you'll never be able to have glasses for as long as I have had glasses.
Never.
Unless you live until you're like 80 and I die before I'm 40.
Well, I know when you're gonna live to be 1,000, so like
you know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least 1,000.
Who told you this?
Probably 1,020.
Wow. Dang, that's a long time to live. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I want to live that long. To be honest.
Can you imagine that guy is 1,000 years old?
He'd be this small. No, just kidding. They don't shrink. It's just their spines get. My gosh, 1,000. That's ridiculous.
Yes. Well, we should move on to the next topic. What do you think?
Yeah. So we've got a couple people here. Looks like Akil's here. Akil, would you like us to do yours if you have anything prepared? Cherry's here. And Princess is here. Joe wishes Brandon was here. It was a really good topic. I wish
Brandon had a really
good
good topic.
Back. I hope he comes back.
Brandon, I hope you come back.
If anybody knows Brandon, tell him to come back here someday.
Yeah.
He wants to talk about reforming education.
He does.
So,
Akil, you've got quite a long topic here.
Yeah. Is this Sage of Roughland?
No, I'm actually looking at Stagnant.
Stagnant.
Yes, because it was just updated 11 hours ago.
Oh my gosh. Wait, is there multiple pages or just one?
There's multiple posts here.
There's multiple posts, but there's only one page. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a healthy read.
We might have to, if we're gonna do this one, Akil, we might have to read through it, paraphrase it, and
Yeah.
The only thing is I love reading what you write because I love your style.
I feel like we would have to start the stream with this one. It's really long. So, do you want to do this one next Wednesday?
Yeah, you want to plan on that?
Yeah, let's do this one next Wednesday. We'll try to read through it before then. Is that cool, Akil? If it's good enough to go, is that cool? Let us know.
Akil says it's cool. I can hear it. Yeah, Princess, you're right. We
Yeah,
do need an Akil one soon.
there is
Yeah.
one on here. Oh, it says if he lets us. Yeah, okay, okay.
Uh, but we do have a final transmission.
A final transmission.
Yeah, the time sensitive
Ah,
one we
yes,
actually
yes.
handled last Wednesday.
Yeah. We did.
Yep.
That's right.
Cherry says a final transmission is now the one.
Oh, okay. The others are now pointless. Okay, so we can get rid of the other ones. Okay, that's good to know. And so just a final transmission.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
let's click on it.
so look at this right here. We're gonna do
All
that.
right.
We're gonna post it. Now it's official. We're
Yep,
doing it.
we're doing it. Okay, so this one is from Sherry, known as Echo on the forums. It reads,
Mhm.
oh wait, the title is A Final Transmission. Yeah, we've said it a couple times. And it
What's it
reads,
called again?
it's called A Final Transmission.
A final
And it reads as
transmission.
follows. Yeah. And it reads as
Okay.
follows. Away with the mask and away with the secrets. I'm lying down my motives. Recently, I've lost a lot of people in real life and people online. I looked up to I looked up to someone and thought of them as my hero. I thought they had come to my rescue. I thought I could finally be happy and, well, the same stuff as always. I lost them again. My words were misinterpreted. I was put on a trial of sorts and became very defensive. It's like being dangled over a cliff and told not to beg for your life. Of course, I defended myself, even if it meant being hostile, because my biggest fear was right in front of me. I thought maybe the hero I looked up to would come and save me, but I was wrong. No one can trust me. Even this was all for nothing, slash just a sad show, slash just an ego, slash I suppose, though, as far as I know, we're both pretending, slash I suppose so, but what do I know? Perfect Machine by Starset. Wow. Okay. So that's a song, and I
Those are
think
lyrics.
yeah, those are lyrics. I think
They
I
probably didn't
butchered
say
it.
the word slash in the
Yeah.
song.
Even though even if you know this was all for nothing, just a sad show, just an ego. I suppose though, as far as I know, we're both pretending. I suppose so. But what do I know? There you go. I once thought there was room for redemption and hope, not realizing I was blind. Finally, though, I've given up. I know that there's nothing that waits for me on the other side, but I have no choice but to let go. Sorry, yeah. I won't ever let back. At least that's what I've been told. Oh, I won't ever be let back. There we go. I won't ever be let back. At least that's what I've been told. I've never had a voice, never had a say in what goes on in my life. It's no surprise that I have no control once again. I'm always told to do where to, always told what to do, where to go, what's happening, and that I can't change it. I'm left with no choice but to let go. And but when did I ever have a choice to begin with? To let go, I have to leave everyone and everything. Everyone I know on Discord and this community. I wish I could stay, but if I see a reminder of the server, I'll want to go back. My mind will torment me and I'll until I manage to get back to the server. I can't escape myself. The reason it all means so much to me is because, as some people may know, I've been a part of and lost many servers and friendships and relationships in general. This constant cycle of losing people has led me to deduct that there's something wrong with me. But what? But what? But what? I don't know. They always give up on me and get rid of me before I can find out the issue, leading to an infinite cycle of loss and tragedy. Was I born to live a tragedy? It's hard to believe I'm not. People have told me to seek professional help. I have many, many times for various reasons from various sources. Therapists, psychiatrists, friends, family, online sources, and I've even taken medication. Nothing helps. This is just who I am, and either it's incurable or people can't or won't accept me for who I am. I know life is a journey. So what happened to me? Tell me, why was I in such a hurry? I don't know. I don't know. I know life's a journey, but you gave up on me early. Tell me, why were you in such a hurry? I don't know. I don't know. Show the way because it's blurry. Show the way and your mercy to me. Nothing there, nothing there, and I'm worried. It's all I know, all I know. Echo by Starset. That one is lyrics as well. I have two motives for doing things. I'll lay them out, and it will explain every action. It may not make people happy, or sorry, it may not make people hate me any less, but it's the truth. One, I don't want to be forgotten. Most of what I do is because I don't want to be forgotten. All of my life, I felt separated from everyone else. I felt left out and like I don't fit in. I've always longed for a place to belong. Everything I do is because I don't want to be forgotten or worthless or just another face in the crowd. Two, I want to be forgotten. If I am remembered in a bad way, I do hope I am forgotten so that in some long, distant future, if someone ever sees me, there's room for forgiveness and reparations in the relationship. This one is scary because there's no guarantee that people will forget me, which is why I often find myself running back to the servers I get kicked out of. I don't want things to end on a bad term or on a term that isn't my own, especially a bad one. I don't really know what to ask because as I've said, I don't know what's quite wrong with me. What are your thoughts? How do I move on? Especially knowing that there's nothing but the void waiting for me on the other side of letting go. I don't ask for forgiveness, just understanding. And I guess this is my final transmission and my goodbye. Thank you both so much for the effort you put into me. Echo, Cherry, April, Winter, and Yume. That was there's a lot to read. That was really good though. A lot of thoughts, a lot of your own introspection, which is great. Um, and so thanks for sharing again with us, Cherry. I was gonna say Echo. Either way, I guess, right? Um, yeah, thanks for always sharing your heart with us, sharing everything that's going on, and we have appreciated you being here and all the nice things that you've said on the in the comments here. Um, yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about here. I mean, um, there's a lot of content. So I think just so I'm sure Joe got the understanding, but Cherry was removed from the BSS or sorry, the Static P Friends server. And so that's the server they're kind of talking about right now about being unable to access and wanting to come back and that sort of thing. Um, so, and I was not necessarily in control of that. I leave that up to other moderators and stuff, and I don't really go there that often. So I don't necessarily know the full situation, but um, I'm sure they had their reasons. And so their question here is, of course, how do you move on through this experience? How do you let go? That totally makes sense. I've been in that situation before. Um, Actually, a very similar situation. Being kicked from different places where it's like, man, I have to go, and yet everybody hates me, and I hate that more than anything. That everybody doesn't like me because I was not able to leave on a good, you know, footing where people even get to understand what I was saying or get to understand who I am, or that sort of thing. And you're just kind of forced into the situation where now you have a reputation with people you'll never even meet again, but it still sinks, right? Um, and so yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. And so I'm interested in seeing what Joe has to say.
Um, that's a good question. First of all, Cherry, my heart goes out to you.
Hmm.
I know what it's like to be rejected. I know what it's like to be ostracized by a group of people. Um, I know what it feels like to be ostracized and then bullied as a result too. Um, the, and I know that the bullying wasn't as painful as the rejection. So I understand. And I mean, obviously, I don't know the particulars of, your situation. I don't know the reasons why you were removed from servers, why you were removed from different groups. I don't know the reasons why. I do know that from my point of view, everything that you've done while here at the Don't Worry Wednesday community and at BSS.studio has only warranted more welcome for you. And I I haven't seen anything here that would make me want to reject you or anything. I don't see any of that here. And so I'm sorry that if, in the past you made some mistakes that got you removed from some places. One thing about being human is we make mistakes. I make them all the time. Daily, as a matter of fact. I will say the wrong thing. I'll do the wrong thing. I'll turn the wrong place. I'll miss a turn. All kinds of stuff. Partly because I drive all day long. So, it's really easy for me to miss lots of turns in a day. So the question is, how do you readjust? How do you regroup and move on? And, I've listened to having been through many, many relationship struggles in marriage, or in relationships just with other people in general. I've listened to a lot of information on how to work with that. And one of the things that made the biggest impact for me, and I really hope this can help you, is that we need to take the long view when it comes to dealing with other people. Excuse me. And when I say that, what I mean is we need to take the view of we've got a long time. We've got a lifetime. Obviously, we don't know how long we're going to live. We just don't know that.
Apparently, I'm gonna live. Joe knows how long I'm gonna live.
That's the only exception. I know how long Ryan's going to live. I don't know how long I'm going to live.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
sorry.
Barring any kind of craziness, if we maintain healthy lives and all that kind of stuff, I mean, life expectancy in the United States anyway is in the 80s, 90s, whatever, somewhere in that realm, somewhere between 70 and 110, So we've got time. we've got some years. Now, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. It doesn't mean that we should just sit back and wait for something to happen. You know, we should definitely try, and we should definitely try to make amends, and we should try and make ourselves better for sure. But in doing that, we should take a patient view with ourselves and with others, because people take time to change. Sometimes what needs to happen is we need to change. And it takes time to change habits. It takes time to change perspectives. It takes time and energy and trying in order for us to change. One of the things I would think about with that is it took me a long time to get to the person who I am now. And I know who I used to be. I used to be argumentative and angry all the time. I was angry all the time, all
Mm.
the time, anger.
I never knew that, Joe.
It was ridiculous.
Luckily.
It was crazy. Like I had been hurt and bullied by so many people by the time I was, like 17 years old. I was just angry. Angry all the time. Hardly ever. And you could just see it on my face. I was always angry with everybody, and I didn't care who you were. And to go from that person to now, where I pretty much am not angry with anybody ever, except for sometimes it gets frustrating because I'm a parent and I've got 2 kids, and sometimes it's frustrating. But I still don't lose my patience nearly as quickly. And yeah, but at any rate, all that is here. That's not to shine a spotlight on me and say, "Hey, look how great I am. Look at how well I could change." Da, 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 da. I'm 41 now. To go from 17 to 41, that's a long time, right? But here's the thing. We need to allow others that same journey. Like, not only do we need to allow ourselves the patience and the grace to take that time to change and to improve and to grow, we also need to allow others that same patience and grace, because we're all humans. We're all stuck in this boat together. And we all know how hard it is to change ourselves. And we all feel like, man, it's just never going to happen. And I know that feeling of like, this is how things are. So this is how things are always going to be. And so that's just how it is. And that is a lie. I'm sorry, but that is an absolute lie. And we tell ourselves that lie all the time, that things are just, this is the way things are. It's the way they're always going to be. Or this is just how I am. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. It's just how I am. You know how I am. It's just how I am. That's okay. Maybe that's how you are now,
Yeah,
but
it's how
that's
you're
not the way.
acting. You don't have
Right,
to act that way.
exactly. Right. We as people, we can change. The interesting thing is, we as people, it takes effort and it takes growth, and as we improve, we can celebrate those little victories, and then before we know it, we're a long way down the line, and you hardly recognize yourself.
Mm.
Go listen to my song Sail On. There's a little bit of that in there.
It's a good song. I like that one.
And it's about how our whole life, we you know we can look to our entire lives and grow and change and improve our situations. And the interesting thing is, even though it takes us a long time to change and grow and improve, and it takes effort and all that kind of stuff, circumstances can change immediately. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. I can't tell you how many times I've hit rock bottom. And it's just been like, well, hey, perfect place to start, right? Because I can't go any lower. Like, it's all going up from here, like,
Mhm.
okay, good. I'm broke, I'm depressed, I'm destitute, and like,
Yeah.
and I lost most of my friends. Well, at least I got a couple friends, so that's good. They don't talk to me very much, but I got them.
Yeah. They're all my friends because they didn't talk to me recently. Oof.
Right. Yep. But when you hit rock bottom, it's the perfect place to start. I heard a line in a movie or maybe a book or something where it's like, yeah, so now you know what it feels like to lose everything. I've lost everything a handful of times. It's the perfect place to start. And that stuck with me where it's like, hey, my circumstances changed and it's just everything all fell apart. Well, hey, perfect place to start. I got nothing. Might as well start creating something. But Cherry, you I'll tell you this. I love you. I love that you're here.
Mhm.
That's not changing. You're asking such important questions of yourself. Very introspective questions. And that tells me that you're interested in improving. And I'm telling you that it's not always easy and it's going to take some time. But if you can remember the long view, just because things are a certain way now doesn't mean they're always going to be that way. And just because somebody says they're always going to be a certain way or that some situation is always going to be that way, it's not the case necessarily. In fact, I find in dealing with people that when someone comes out and says, absolutely, I tell you for sure, this is never, ever going to happen, I know it's only a matter of time until it happens. I know it. Or if somebody says, I absolutely tell you this is the way it is and it's never changing, it's only a matter of time. So I can be patient. And this ought to be a fun little game to watch, how this actually plays out and how this person actually changes their mind. No matter how stubborn, it's hilarious. Sadly, I saw it a lot in property inspections. Someone would come out and they'd be like, I promise you, we're working this thing out. No, this bank is just being stupid. And, we got everything. And I'm like, oh, yeah. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I give you 9 months and this house is vacant.
Oof. Poor people.
And unfortunately, that was a lot of times true in less time than that. But it almost seemed like the more adamant they were, the more likely it was that it was going to change. I've seen it happen in my wife. I've seen it happen in my friends, not losing their houses, you know, but, but but just saying things like, this is the way it is. I made up my mind and this is how it's going to be. And they get on a stump and they're like, oh, talking about it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then it's just a matter of time. And then all of a sudden, whoop, changes. It's different because people change. So the question is not, are you going to change, Cherry? The real question is, what are you going to change into? You're asking really good questions. I think you're going to change into something great, into somebody great. I think you're going to change into somebody very happy and secure, knowledgeable, and thankful for these experiences where you went through hard times because they gave you a perspective that you would not have had anywhere in any other way. And that is a person I can't wait to meet. And right now I'm meeting a preview of that person. And I'm super honored and humbled to have you here.
Nicely said.
So Ryan, what do you have?
Yeah. No, thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that. And yeah, uh, hmm, Cherry, We love you here. And you never did any wrong by us. So, um, I really like Joe's kind of response to this because it's true. You look at yourself right now, but for a moment, stop and look at yourself 10 years from now. Now stop. Look at yourself 20 years from now. You're still gonna be alive. How much does the server mean in that regard?
Mm,
Are you even 20 years old right now? If you are, whatever age you are, double it. Think about the whole life you've lived so far and how much you've lived without a certain set of people or without knowing certain people, whatever. And realize if we look at our whole lives, there are things that we make big deals of.
mhm,
And I mean, I used to do this all the time, and I've done it probably recently too. Make a big deal of something that if I actually look at the entirety of my life, I go, that that was that I can't even measure the deal, like the amount of time and like value that that moment had. Like it's so small, I can't put my fingers together close enough. Like it's the size of an atom, because I have so many minutes to use throughout my life to do so many different things, to focus on so many different things, right? I have so much time. A lot of times we're like, we complain because we don't have enough time because we have so many things we want to do.
mhm.
But if we look like sometimes we make a really big deal, like, no, I don't want to do like, I don't want to, I can't believe I have to go outside and mow the lawn. Okay. I haven't done that in forever, but just as an example, can't believe I have to go outside and mow the lawn. This is so stupid. This is going to be, a waste like hour of my time. You know what? In 20 years, I will not even remember that ever happened, much less like care. It's not gonna be affecting me anymore in 20 years. 20 years from now, I'm not gonna be like, "Man, that day I had to go out and mow the lawn." That's still making me angry today. Like,
I
I
can't
hope
believe I had to
not.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like, no, there's nothing, right? I'm still doing it. No, I'm not. I got done with it an hour, like, after I started, and it's 20 years later from then. A lot of time has passed, right? And we kinda have to look at life in this way because that helps us move forward, right? Because that's what you're asking. You're asking, "How do I move forward?" And I think that looking at your life in the grand scheme and realizing how much value each thing has and trying to pinpoint, um, is it worth getting upset about this? If I move on, how much life do I have left? A lot. So it's not that big of a deal. Nothing is wasted. It's not like you try something, right? And it didn't work out, right? You tried something and it didn't work out. You tried to be on a server and it didn't work out. You tried to rejoin, it didn't work out, right? It's not wasted because you can gain a lot of experience from that. You can gain a lot of inward reflection, a lot of understanding about yourself and other people. You can take that into your future and make your future better from it. Remember, all of your problems, all of your hardships, all of your suffering is there for you as a way for you to have strength. Is a gift to you to make you a stronger person in whatever you need to be strong at in life. And so nothing goes to waste. You can look at these experiences and think, man, that stunk. Yeah, it did. That wasn't fair. You're right. You know, or someone wronged me. Yeah. But in the end, you get to make good of that because things aren't just bad because we don't like the way they feel, right? We don't like the way they feel, but they're still good, right? There are some foods a lot of people don't like that are good for you.
Mhm.
Just because you don't like them doesn't mean it's bad. And just because you like something doesn't mean it's good. Some people really like some really unhealthy food.
Yeah, like a Long John filled with chocolate on
Mhm.
top and glaze and stuff.
Yeah, that's super good
Super
tasting,
good and
but
great for
super
you, I'm sure.
not that great for your body. you know, it's not unhealthy. It's unhealthy, but it's not like you're losing something. It's not like you're losing an arm by eating a donut. But let's say you do lose an arm. That stinks, right? That stinks a lot, you know? You might go out your whole life without that arm now. Doesn't mean your life's not gonna be awesome. Doesn't have anything to do with that. Isn't that interesting?
Mhm.
Oh, no, you lost an arm. Yeah, that really sucks. That's a big deal, okay? Doesn't mean your life can't be awesome. Doesn't mean you can't do a whole lot of good. Doesn't mean that you can't feel good. So, anything that happens in life, it doesn't go wasted. Even though something might seem bad, it's not always bad. It can be made good. So, as long as you remember that, I think moving forward is not too hard. Um, and just like you're attempting to do, I think that by pushing yourself away from any of the, like, I guess there's a lot of examples in life, but let's say you have a habit that's a bad habit. Let's say you smoke, right? Removing yourself from cigarettes entirely and saying, well, I just won't buy anymore. And so I won't be around any as, and, well, that's going to be a lot more effective than being around all the time. So
Mhm.
your idea of, I'm just going to remove myself from these people or these things that make me think about this, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Is it the solution? I can't guarantee that. But I can say that at least it's something, right? Um if that's your goal is to be able to move on from this. Um sometimes yeah, we have to just, remove ourselves from whatever it is so that we can move on, move forward. And you know, that's who we are, it's what we have to do as people sometimes. Um so Jerry, you asked what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Yes, a couple of times. You think that there's something wrong with you, something messed up. And I think I know the answer to that. All right. And it might be difficult to say, might be difficult to word, but I think I have, well, there's plenty of things wrong with you because there's plenty of things wrong with all of us. All right. Trust me. All right. But one thing in particular stands out to me, Cherry. And if you can fix this one thing, you'll be an insanely amazing person, someone that people will look up to. And so I hope you're listening because this is it. You are an incredibly intelligent person
Mhm.
and you are wise beyond your intentions. If that, if you understand what I mean, you are wise beyond your intentions. So you have a lot of wisdom. You are very smart. You know a lot about psychology and you are really good at looking at something and changing your mind about it. You're really good at changing the way you are and the way you present yourself to other people. And these are good skills. Um, some people say that that's manipulative, but the truth is, it's a really good skill. However, if one has bad intentions, or maybe the intentions aren't bad, but they're aimed at ourselves, a lot of times they can cause us to do things that other people will not like. Um, so I have several messages and records of Senna, um, and Senna, and Senna was your friend for a very long time, and they said that um, they have many quotes of you saying that you basically try to pretend to be a person or manipulate a person or say certain things to get other people to like you so that you'll be liked, and that's not a bad thing, but that's also a really dangerous and bad thing sometimes. Because if your intention is to get others to like you by being someone who isn't you, then you're not going to feel like people like you because instead you'll feel like people like who you're not.
Mm.
And if your intention is to be liked, then you're going about it the wrong way, right? If you want to be liked in general, I think it's important to remember that how many people like you doesn't change how valuable you are.
Mm.
How many people like you doesn't even change how likable you are. Sometimes we're just in a circumstance where people get the wrong idea about us, or they misunderstand us,
Mm.
or they don't try to even understand us, right? They don't spend the time to get to know us and they just assume we're bad, right? Those things happen, but none of that means that you are in the wrong. And none of that means that you are unlikable. And none of that means that you're unvaluable. You are valuable. You were created exactly to be you and to be the best you. And I hope you aim for that. If you are really good at controlling yourself to decide, hey, I want to be like this. What do I say to get other people to kind of like me and that sort of thing? Good stuff. That's actually really good. But you have to use it for the right reasons or you'll get caught and then people won't like you. So you have an incredible amount of intelligence and incredible talent, right? But how are you using it? If you're worried about what other people think of you, you'll never be able to experience happiness by your own. Because if other people's thoughts about you determine how you feel about yourself, then you're giving other people control over who you are, how you act, how you see yourself, how you feel. And you don't want other people to control all of that. You have to make sure you have control for yourself. You have to make sure that you can say, I don't care what other people think because I know who I am. I know my intentions. I know my intentions were good. I know I want to do good things. And I think you do.
Mhm.
You do want to do good things. And you've told us before, and I know that you really do in your heart.
Mhm.
So just do those things and be proud of who you are. Don't worry about what other people think. Because if you worry about what other people think, you give them control over, like I said, how you act, how you feel, and everything that entails, right? Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're on, one personality or another. This that's not healthy, right? I think you know that. And it's just a matter of getting to that point. So if there was one thing, here's the thing. Listen. I said this was the issue that you you said, there's something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I can't figure it out. There's something wrong with me. That thing that I just pointed out is something I had to go through
Mm.
for a very, very, very long time. So I know for a fact, and I have great faith in you, Cherry, that you can and absolutely will find happiness, become strong, and learn to enjoy yourself. Get over what other people think of you, move on from this, and live an incredible and influential life.
Mm.
You can do so much, and you are so wise and so smart. It's just making sure you use your wisdom to the things that are healthy for you, to never fake who you are. Because honestly, there's no such thing as faking who you are. Other than lying, there's no such thing as faking who you are. Because everything you do, that's who you are at that moment.
Mm.
However you act, that's who you are in that moment. If you are kind, even if it's only to make friends, only to get other people to like you, but you're kind just because of that. You don't really want to be kind. You don't really care about kindness. You don't really care about the good of the other person, but you're being kind because you want other people to like you and you like that satisfaction, right? You are still being kind. While your intentions are not good, those count too. So you always have to ask yourself, I've got all of this brilliance. I've got all of this intelligence, all of this wisdom, all of this self control. But what are my intentions? What am I going to do with all of it? Reach for what's good for you in your heart. Reach for what's good for you in God's eyes. And I think you will find yourself in a position where you aren't worried about whether people are going to like you. Rather, you're just going to realize that a lot of people will like you and some people won't. And it doesn't matter either way because you inside and are good and you know who you are. If you can find that you are proud of who you are, happiness is there. Period. People like, what's the secret to happiness? That's it. Are you proud of who you are?
Mm.
That's, and you know what? We're never proud of ourselves when we lie, right? We're never proud of ourselves when we manipulate people. We're never proud of ourselves when we do things just so that other people will like us,
Mm.
right? And I've been there. I've been all those places. Trust me, I have. So, but we are proud of ourselves when we know we're doing what's good, when our intentions are good, when we look at ourselves and say, wow, I'm impressed with who I've become. And that's totally, absolutely 100% in your path. You have, like I said, you are smart enough, you are intelligent enough, you are wise enough, and you have enough self-control, Jerry. You've got everything you need. You really do. You're a really incredible person. So don't give up and don't feel like your life is in the hands of others because it's you who gets to control you. Even though you don't get to control your scenario, even though you don't get to control the people around you or what choices they make for you, you get to decide how you react to every one of them. You get to decide your attitude along the way, and you get to decide your intentions. Sometimes you'll have intentions that are bad, right? And then you'll stop yourself and you'll say, hey, why am I thinking that? Joe was just talking about that. We all do that, right?
Mhm.
We all like have this thought like, man, I want to go do, whatever it is. Like, something as simple as like, man, rather than working, I'd rather just go goof off and do something else, right? So I will. That sounds like seriously, I've earned it, right? I probably haven't, but I'm just gonna go do it anyways. Like it's just a thought I had, and I'm gonna do it, right? We all do that, and it's not healthy. But on the other hand, sometimes we have that thought, and we're like, no, 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 no. I need to do what's right. I need to stay on track. I need to keep on being the best version of myself here, and then apply myself. And then when we do that, we look back at ourselves. Even in that moment, we feel good about who we are because
Mhm.
we changed our intentions to fit what is good. Because we aren't inherently good as people. We aren't inherently bad either. Some people say that humans are inherently bad and evil. That's wrong.
Mhm.
We are capable of each. And that's kind of beautiful. And we have to judge ourselves and make sure that our intentions are good. And if they are, man, happiness is right there with you. Because yeah, sometimes things won't work out in our favor, even if our intentions are good. Bad things will still happen. Some days we'll be miserable. Sometimes we'll be sad. Sometimes we'll get angry, even though our intentions were good. But it's continuing to do that which makes us proud of ourselves. It makes us right with ourselves and say, you know what? I'm a good human before God and myself, and I love that about me, even though it doesn't always work out in the end.
Mm.
And then you find yourself happy. And then you find yourself away from this problem of what do people think of me? So, anyways, I've said the same thing like 400 different times in like two different ways. So that's what I got. I hope, Jerry, I hope that you're able to get all that and that was able to make sense to you um, in a deeper way than I spoke of. As you know you, and I don't know you that well, but yeah, I know that you're an awesome person and that you got this. I I I believe in you, man.
Well, and one thing too to remember is that you're here. You are in this world. You were put here in this world. I mean, regardless of your religious view, you're not an accident. You're here now. And nobody else has ever been here like you. No one else will ever be like you again. And so the world needs the real you. And I remember that because I went through different crises of trying to be something I'm not, and trying to live up to others' expectations and trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to make this person happy? And that's going to make me happy because they're saying that I'm only going to be content if I live this certain way. And so I need to do what they say, even though deep down in my heart, it's not what I want to do. It's not who I am. And as Ryan was saying, it's so important to live authentically is really one of the marks of true contentment, true happiness, and stuff like that. Where it's like, you know what, you can be who you are. You're born, and you're you. And sometimes we're ashamed of who we are, but really, what the world needs is more of you, the real you, the authentic you, the best you that you can be. But it's authentically you, not changing yourself around to fit what you think others are going to want, or not changing yourself around to think, well, if I maybe I just haven't figured some things out yet, so I need to not be myself. I need to be this other person. You were born with certain system of, hopes, goals, dreams, desires, all that mixed in. Some of these things we weren't born with, some of these things we developed over time, but it all makes up who we are. And who you are is beautiful.
Hmm.
The world needs more of you. And I love how Ryan approached this. So I would go back and listen to Ryan's what would he say? He said it 40,000 times, two different ways, or something like that.
Yeah, 400 times in two different ways.
Well, it went from 400 to 40,000.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty impressive. I've been multiplying rapidly. Yeah.
yeah. So Cherry, if you're still here, I really appreciate you being here, and I
Hmm.
really hope. I mean, you said some things in there. You're like, "This is my goodbye," and all that kind of stuff. I really hope that's not the case because I really like you being here.
Yeah, me too.
I really hope you stick, and I really hope we get to know you better.
Hmm.
So no matter what you do, where you go, I hope these words stick in your head: that you're loved, you're important, and as Ryan was saying, you have an extremely powerful mind. So, whatever we can do to help you use that powerful mind to your benefit rather than to degrade yourself or make you feel worse, I'd like to do that in any way I possibly can. And I just really, really thank you for being here, and I
Hmm.
want you to know that
Me too.
we love you.
Yeah. We hope to see you many Wednesdays in the future, but the choice is yours, of course.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we will we will honor whatever choice you choose to make. But yeah,
Mhm.
we hope to see you again. And we really appreciate all the time that you've spent with us. We love you.
Well, Cherry, I'm glad. I'm glad it's helpful. The
Good.
future will have to see. Yes, the future will see.
The future knows the future.
The future knows the future. That's great. I was gonna say something not even nearly as cool as that. So I'm just
The
gonna
future
stop
knows the
talking.
past. The future is the ultimate enemy. Wait, I mean, friend. Frenemy.
Friend to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, wow. You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. We are going on longer on these topics now than we used to. We only
Yeah.
do
Well, there was only
2 and, like,
two, so we didn't feel rushed, I suppose.
yeah, I guess probably.
I mean, actually, we could have done Princess. I suppose she's here. And Akil's here, but we decided to do hers or his. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Akil. Do Akil's next Wednesday. We have to remember to read it
Mhm.
beforehand. It's about 2 hours. Are you guys gonna wrap it up? Yep. Unless you want us to do yours. No, I'm just kidding. Joe has to go. I'm sure he's plenty tired.
Nah.
Joe, like, what the heck? I got less sleep than you did.
Are you sure?
How much sleep did you get?
4.5 hours, but I got up at 3.
Oh, nice. I got up at 4 yesterday,
AM or PM?
PM.
4 PM. And you've been up the whole night and all day?
But over that period of time, I took 2 naps, which were both an hour and a half long. So I got 3 hours over a 24 plus 7. 5 to 6, 7 to 8 to 9, 30, 31. 31-hour period. So 3 hours over 31 hours.
Wow, good.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
impressed.
almost tied.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my life sometimes.
it is. It
Usually that's
happens.
your life, but that was my life this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe honestly, like, as much as I can try to brag about that, Joe has me beat. Like,
On
on
what?
most days, Joe
Oh,
has
on
me
lack
beat.
of sleep?
On lack of sleep, yeah, Joe does me under. If we were trying to put them together, Joe owns me.
Well, I don't know about that. There are times, Sophia says, "How are your naps perfect timings for sleep cycles?" I would take a nap and realize I slept all night or something. Yeah, it happens. Like, it's weird. Like, if I'm gonna take a nap, I know that it can't be longer than like 25 minutes, or else I start to go into a deep sleep cycle and I'm gonna stay asleep for a while.
Hmm.
Also, sleep cycles are generally about an hour and a half long. So every 90 minutes, you're going to be at the point where it's easiest for you to wake up every 90 minutes. So I try and time my sleep schedule for somewhere in there. Now, for a while, I tried to do 3 hours of sleep. That I can't do that one yet. Still in training, I guess.
You're down to 4 though, aren't you? You were at four
Four
and a
and a
half
half,
for a while, now
four and
you're
a
at
half,
4.
four and a
I
half, and sometimes 4. But yeah,
So for my case, it was 100% chance, Sophia. That's all the time I had. I had an hour and a half at one point, and then I had to go do something else. So I was like, okay, I'll sleep. And then I had an hour and a half later on in the day. That's all I had. Well, technically, I actually had 2 hours both times, but I kind of just like laid down and did nothing, or prepared myself and did nothing. But yeah,
now here's the thing: I'm not promoting this lifestyle.
yeah. Oh, and I set alarms to wake myself up, by the way. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
alarms.
promoting that lifestyle. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying that's what I did.
No, because I don't want to live this lifestyle forever. I slept, actually, it was interesting. Not long ago, I actually slept 7.5 hours.
Wow, Joe. Wow. That's amazing.
I woke up and I felt weird.
That's like Jesse sleeping for 20 hours. Sorry, Jesse.
Yes. So it was funny because I was talking to your brother Kyle about it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, I slept for like almost 8 hours, like 7.5 hours, man.
Yeah,
I
how'd you
woke up
feel?
and I felt weird, and he's like, yeah, that's normal.
Felt weird. Yeah. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, man, I'm so tired. I don't want to get out of bed. You know what I realized? Just get out of bed and then you don't have to feel that way for like very much longer.
Yeah.
At least for me, if I'm like, man, I'm so tired, I want to get out of bed. If I just get out of bed, I'm like, oh, that feeling's gone. I don't feel like that headache or that like pain of like, man, I just want to sleep. I got up and now that's gone. I should just do that every time.
Yeah. It's just if you get up, and one thing that helps a lot, if you get up and you brush your teeth like immediately,
Oh yeah, shocks your
drink
system
drink a glass of water and brush your teeth, like
with whiskey.
with whiskey. I don't know
Okay, don't.
about that.
That sounds terrible. Isn't there a song about that though?
I don't know about brushing teeth with whiskey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a
Um,
song where it says maybe it's not whiskey, it's something though. It's by Kesha. Wake
okay.
up in the morning, brush my teeth with I don't know. I don't know the song, guys. Someone in this chat knows the song.
Yeah,
A Jack, it's what it is. A bottle of Jack. Brush your teeth with a bottle of Jack.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's obviously not true. It's not what she really
Right.
does.
Right.
But if you did that, it
Sophia
would wake you
said
up.
Sophia says something cool. She says, "My alarms wake my family across the hall, and I sleep through them for like an hour straight."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I used to have that happen when I went to college. I lived in a dorm where it
Oh
was
my
us on one room, and then we had suite mates. We
shampoo.
had another room,
Ew.
and and we shared a bathroom, right? And so my alarm would go off, and the people next door would come and start banging on the door. I'd be sleeping, and I wouldn't wake up to my alarm, but I'd wake up to them banging on the door, saying, swearing at me. Like,
Because it's been going off for an hour and they can't sleep.
yep. So I can
Brushing your
relate
teeth
to you,
with
Sophia.
shampoo.
Sophia, it's like we're the same person.
Nice. You're both so beautiful.
Ah,
Sophia. Sophia. However you want to say your name. It's beautiful either way. Science, brushing your teeth with shampoo is probably like the most intense thing you could ever do because shampoo, I've never had a branded shampoo taste good or even
no.
remotely good. It's just like it's this weird sensation too. It's not just like, oh, that's bitter. It's like a particular sensation and taste that they don't have a name for. You know what I mean? Like you have names for like salty, savory, sweet, sharp. Those are all S ones.
Yeah.
Bitter.
Shampooey.
But what the heck is shampoo? Because when you
It's
put that in your mouth,
shampooey.
that is a weird sensation.
Shampooey.
Shampooey, shampooey.
It's kind of pooey, but it's
Hmm.
shampooey.
You like Sophia with the emphasis on the
Sophia.
first syllable. Yeah, I've appreciated that ever since you started saying it because it was unique. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I just Sophia. I always thought of Sophia. Sophia. I always thought it was such a pretty name. It's a pretty name either way, though. I really love that name. So I know that's not your real name, but it's one of my favorite names. I also like Penelope. Penelope is a really cool name.
Hmm.
Brushing my teeth with shampoo is awesome. I mean, makes me gag, and everything tastes like it went through the orange juice toothpaste filter. But other than that, it's great. That's awesome.
Nice.
Can't
All
think
right.
of
Yeah, we
shampoo
should
without thinking about yeah,
we should probably get
orange
going
juice.
here. Actually, I'm
That's a great
sorry.
idea.
I'm sorry
Nope,
to cut it
nope,
down,
go
guys.
for it.
I
See you
love you
later.
guys,
Bye, guys.
but yeah, um,
Bye. Have a blessed evening. Hope to
What
see
the
you guys
heck,
next
man?
time.
That was
Love
like
you.
quick. It's like, man, what the heck? Like, I was just saying we should start doing that.
Yeah. Goodbye. Close it down, Jesse. Jesse's not even
Oh
here.
my
He fell
gosh.
asleep.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. I
Mhm.
love you all. And yeah, come back on
Yep.
Wednesday. Come back next Wednesday for next week's exciting adventure. And don't worry,
Next
Wednesday.
week's? Do you mean this coming week, or do you mean the week after this coming
We're
week?
not having this conversation. We know the right answer.
Sorry.
We're not having this conversation or you're fired.
I love that accent. I don't know what it is, but that was great.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Science. No, not again, Ryan.
You guys are awesome. We'll see you next time,
See you guys.
which is actually this time.
No, it's not. That's awesome. You're
Hey,
awesome,
we're
bro.
back on.
Hi, we're back.
Hey, apparently.
Hey,
Welcome.
this time, just like we said.
Welcome
Don't worry,
to the
Wednesday.
next
This time.
Don't Worry Wednesday. We're wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, we've
But I'm
been
the
wearing these
host.
since we've been wearing these since last this Thursday or Wednesday.
It's Thursday even. We even switched the
since
day
last
on
this
you.
Wednesday.
Like, you don't even know how hard that is to do.
Switch the day.
Whoa. Yeah.
Cool.
It just happens. Like,
Mhm.
whoa. All right.
Oh, we can say bye
Jesse's
now?
in
Again?
charge. So he says we need to say goodbye quick because
See ya.
he's shutting it off in 5, 4,